Hi, N3YHF here. Just want to do a quick video demonstrating the use of a Raspberry Pi along with a Yaesu FT-450D doing digital modes and doing it remotely. Um, so right here, you see my setup here. I've got a power supply over here, an antenna, manual antenna tuner, and the Yaesu HT radio right here. And then the star of the show right here is the Raspberry Pi 2. This particular one, I have the what's called the Cirrus Logic audio card attached to it. And if you look over here, essentially this card attaches with the GPIO pins on this side, and it therefore does not use the USB ports or any sort of external USB sound device. And as a result, you end up with a very high performance solution here. It doesn't have to go through the kind of sluggish USB ports. And the Wolfson chip on here is really a nice quality chip. It's actually intended for a cell phone, but in this implementation, it works really good. And this board is pretty flexible, but you get essentially a stereo in and a stereo out. Even though there are more inputs on here, the way the software works, it only lets you use a pair of inputs and outputs at any moment. I don't know if that can be changed with the drivers at all, but so essentially, I've got a network cable attached here that gives you 100 megabits, and then I have a serial adapter here, and this attaches to the cat control on the Yaesu 450D. Many different types of radios are supported, and then there's a fella out in the UK who builds these really nice. It's essentially a data cable, plugs into the data port in the back of the Yaesu, specific for this radio. But it's also got a one-to-one transformer in here for the inputs and outputs, so it gives you an isolation, preventing any possible ground loops. So this is very affordable, and it works really nice. I think Yaesu sells one as well, but it's a lot more expensive, and I doubt it's as good. So this is a really high quality cable, and I'm very happy with it. I'm sure you could build yourself one if you had a little one-to-one transformer. I've got one laying around here somewhere, but anyhow, that's off topic. So essentially the wires are labeled, so the green goes into your line out, and the blue goes into your line in. So this is where it's going to record from, and this is where it's going to play back audio to your radio. So essentially what this allows you to do is you can run, you don't have to use it with this type of radio. You can also use it with something like this here. You have the soft rock ensemble, and essentially you can plug that into here as well, along with an external secondary USB audio device, and then you can use the Raspberry Pi to run this. It runs Quisk, I think it's pronounced, I don't know, and that is a very handy little SDR decoding program, and it can also be used for transmit. Anyway, that's another project for another time. But the fldigi on here, this has more than enough power to run fldigi. When I've got fldigi running on there along with some other things, it's got plenty of CPU and doesn't have any struggle running that whatsoever. So that's really neat that this can do that. You can potentially add a USB Wi-Fi port on here, or in the future when I get my hands on a Raspberry Pi 3, I could do away with this network card or the network cable, but I would probably at home prefer to use the network cable just because it's going to be a reliable and low latency connection. I really like low latency. So I've got the Yaesu turned on here, and it's doing its job. I've actually got the 10 meter. I've got it tuned up to 20 meter here, but I've got it on a 10 meter antenna, and you know it's resonant on 20, so I don't have to tune it. This radio does have a built-in tuner, but and it's already set up. But you know, if I was using the 80 meter, I could, you know, get it into range where this will only handle anything within 3 SWR. So you're probably asking, hey, how in the world do you control this remotely? So very simply, I just have my computer here running VNC. Well, actually, the Raspberry Pi is running a VNC server, and then on this, you know, then I can use something like Tight VNC here to connect to the Raspberry Pi and control it. You know, obviously, I'm not going to get any audio here, not without some finagling. You can use jack audio to remote send your audio, or you can fool around with other remote access software. I think there's a tool called Spice that will let you remote send audio as well. But you know, for digital modes, you don't need that. You can live with silence here. So this, what we're looking at right now, is a tool called fldigi, and that'll allow me to adjust the or control the radio from afar. So, for example, I can turn up the audio, and I get the S meter over here. I can change the modes. I can fool around with all these different settings. I can turn on the preamp. You know, and obviously, if you see me change the channels here, you can see me adjusting it here remotely as well. So that's real nice that you know, sometimes it's easier to use this than it is to use the front panel on the actual radio. You know, since I can program stuff into here, and but what's particularly interesting is if you run fldigi on here. And these are all programs that are packaged with the Raspbian operating system, so you don't have to do a lot of work to get it working. So right down there, you can already see there's some PSK31 going on. So let me get my channels open here, and there it is. There's a PSK60 something it looks like. So let me see if I can jump onto that band here. 63. Here we go. And we should be able to get this one right here. I like PSK31 just because I'm not a super fast typer, so PSK31 well, actually, I take that back. I can do about 60 to 100 words per or characters per second, or per second. I can do per minute. Or words per minute or something like that. I'm a pretty fast typer, but I'm not PSK 63 fast. You know, I can keep up with PSK 31 and type at the same time. So so there you have it. You can see the waterfall is picking up whatchamacallit, and you know, decoding it, and you got the various channels over here. So that's really exciting. So that's just kind of an introduction to using the Raspberry Pi to do things. Now, just one note about using the Source Logic audio card with the Raspberry Pi is that you do have to use a special kernel. The drivers for the audio card are not mainstreamed into the upstream Raspberry Pi kernel, so you do have to build that yourself or download it for someone who's already done it. So if you're not terribly comfortable with using Linux, it's probably going to be difficult. It's not something I would regard to be a new user kind of thing. But you know, I've been working with this for a long time, and I'm fairly comfortable with doing that sort of thing. So there you go. Good times. 73s, everyone.